And I totally thank you because I was going nuts having to deal with people on Twitter and my dad who were trying to tell me don't blame the defense, don't blame the defense.
Are you kidding me?
But I got a great text message from Benigno, first of all, making sure that you were alive. Thank you.
Barely.
A text message saying, another stellar job by the defense, because you're right. For 58 minutes, they were great. But
Unreal.
that's not, you have to complete football games. Tony Gonzalez sat down on a lounge chair in the end zone and baked a cake. The defense choked at the end. You're 100% right. And thank you for saying it.
Yeah, bro, they did.
When you say it, I know it's true.
Oh, my God.
So true.
I'm beyond speechless anymore with this franchise. I'm beyond speechless anymore. I don't know what to say, man. I've said it so many times. I just, and I hate to be redundant. And I see my buddy, a good job by Gary Myers, ripping off my lines today. He opened up his column. At least give me credit, Gary. I know you can't stand me. Believe me, the feeling's mutual. But at least give me credit, okay? The coaches change, the players change. How long have I been saying that for? Certainly since I've been on the air. So at least come up with something original, Gary, okay? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Gary, that's a bad job.
I mean, please.
I mean, Joe, you have a couple of speeches that you will whip out every once in a while, and I have told you that one is my favorite because it's so true. And I saw it repeated in the newspaper. All you got to do is say, as Joe Benigno would
that's
say.
all.
And
at least give me my props here, Gary, okay? But bro, I don't know what to say anymore. And look, in my mind, they're going to finish 7-9. They got no shot against the Colts. I don't know what the Colts' mindset is. They got everything wrapped up. They're 14-0. I don't know if Manning's playing this week. I would think he's going to play a little bit for sure. I don't know what Jim Caldwell's thinking. I don't know what the players are thinking. So I don't know how the Colts are going to approach this game at all. But I don't think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And to see and it just makes it even worse, and you know this, to see the way the day plays out, to see the Dolphins, who give the Dolphins credit because they're down 24-6 in this game. They come all the way back to tie it. They get the 2-point conversion. And in the overtime, Henny throws a big pick. They get a big penalty by Hartline on top of that, and Baranas kicks the game-winning field goal. But they fought to the end, and that's a credit to them, and that's a credit to Sperano.
Absolutely.
But to see them lose the game, and then to see the Broncos lose to Jamarcus Russell. I mean, I went over to this game, and I'm like, this is a close game. I'm gonna watch. I was now locked in. I was watching the Steelers-Green Bay game, but then I got intrigued by the Denver game, so I went over, watched the whole second half of the Denver game. And to see Jamarcus Russell, because Charlie Fry gets knocked out of the game.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's it. Russell's in the game. They got no shot, the Raiders. They were down 3 at that point.
Yeah, we even saw J.P. Lossman in this game.
That's right, for a play.
Yeah.
And then I see Jamarcus Russell come in and lead them down the field to win it. It's a 4th and 10, and then it's the game-winning touchdown pass to this Schillers, whatever his name is, to beat the Broncos. And it was all right there for the Jets. I don't know what to say.
Well, that was well said and well expressed. But, and I know you don't want to hear this, and I know we all know deep down that the Jets will not find a way to win these next 2 games. But what all this did was keep them on the respirator and keep them alive.
Of course.
So they're alive. I mean, there's no question.
There's about 60 teams tied at 7-7. Don't even ask me about the tiebreakers.
You know what, though? I sat there in the Yahoo playoff generator, and I went through it because I'm that pathetic. And you know what the truth is? It's not that crazy. The craziest part about it is beating Indy and Cincinnati. I believe that. The craziest part of the Jets finding a way to make the playoffs is that.
These teams are all playing each other, too.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, I'm telling you this. After going through 57,000 scenarios, the Jets making the playoffs is not nuts. The nuts part about it
is them winning.
Beating Indy and Cincy.
That's it.
Because
That's right.
everything, and I know the Ravens won, but just about everything, Joe, went the Jets' way.
Pretty much.
And, by the way, maybe somebody should call the head coach and let him know that. He should know that his football team is not completely dead yet, that if somehow they could find it within themselves to play a complete game against Indianapolis, a team that probably for the second half won't have anybody could recognize on the field, that if maybe the Jets can get up and find the way to win these next 2 games against 2 teams that probably will have things wrapped up. Cincy, if they could beat Kansas City, will have their division wrapped up. If they could find a way to actually win these 2 games, it is not nuts. It is not unreasonable to say that this football team could actually make the playoffs.
But they don't deserve it, bro. This is not a playoff team, and they showed it again yesterday.
Who in the AFC is a playoff team?
Yeah, well,
are the Denver Broncos
no, you're right.
a playoff team?
You know what, bro? That's a great point. I mean, who is maybe the Tennessee Titans because they're playing better than anybody. They've won 7 out of the last 8 games, with the only loss being to the Colts in Indianapolis. You know, of all these teams right now, and the Ravens got a layup yesterday with the lousy Bears, and you can't even count out Pittsburgh anymore because Pittsburgh plays the Ravens in Miami.
Yeah, Pittsburgh needs a lot more help than the Jets do, though.
But they can win those 2 games against those are big. You know, those are 2 teams that are right there.
Hey, absolutely. Right now, the Ravens you look at and say they're a playoff team, but if they don't come up big against their division rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are coming off an insane victory,
I'm telling you, the
they
Titans,
fall right down there.
They're playing better than anybody right now. They deserve to make the playoffs. Tennessee.
Well, they did start the year 0-6. So for the first 6 games, they didn't deserve
but they've won 7-1 since then. I mean, you got to give them credit for that.
We got a lot to do. We'll actually break down this game. We're going to go through
Is
the
Banks coming on today?
He'll be on the Talk Giants.
Banks, who yesterday is Banks too. I love Banks. And I love you, Carl. I do. He texts me right on that play where Kerry Rhodes whiffs.
Yes.
And then he texts me 2 seconds later and says, "Don't worry, bro, they're going to win." Yeah, I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me?" and then I cannot tell you what I texted him after the game was over. I can't say a little bit.
Carl, if you're listening, if you were the 12th guy on the field, maybe then they would have won. Maybe a 17th guy around Tony Gonzalez would have helped. Maybe then it would have helped.
Unbelievable.
But we'll talk about the individual moments in this game. We'll break down this game. We'll take your calls. And guess what, Joe? It's your lucky day. After a brutal Jet loss, maybe for the first time, you get an extra 2.5 hours. Congratulations.
Just great.